Help! Our house is on fire.
At 4 a.m., I received an unexpected call from my 6-year-old granddaughter.
Tell Mom to come help right away.
Desperately, I shouted to my granddaughter on the other end of the line.
Mom won't wake up since Dad hit her.
I was shocked by the words that came out of her mouth and immediately rushed to the scene. What I saw there was an unbelievable sight.
Oh no!
I was speechless in the worst situation, collapsing to my knees. Simultaneously, an uncontrollable anger toward my son-in-law surged within me. My daughter Nova has always been timid and shy since she was little. She would often hide behind my husband and me. Seeing Nova walk down the aisle with her father during her wedding was a deeply emotional moment. Nova chose a partner who was 4 years her senior, a colleague from the same company named Aiden. In contrast to Nova, Aiden is decisive and takes the lead. This all happened when he came to our house to ask for our permission to marry Nova.
Nice to meet you. I'd been dating Nova. I promised to make her happy, so would you allow us to get married?
Though he seemed a bit nervous, my husband and I were impressed by his clear declaration, and we decided to approve the marriage. I never imagined that the introverted Nova would introduce a man to us. Despite feeling a bit lonely, what mattered most was that Nova had chosen her partner herself, and that made me happy. "You found a wonderful person."
Yes, thank you. From now on, I'll do my best to support him too.
I was amazed by Nova's strong determination and her positive change in attitude. Due to Aiden's strong desire, Nova quit her job after marriage and became a full-time homemaker. The two of them purchased a second-hand house and began their newlywed life.
Aiden suggested that my mom and dad join us for a meal at our place. How about this Sunday?
Is that okay? Isn't he tired from work?
It's fine. We're family, so please don't worry about it.
As Nova and Aiden's generosity allowed us to share more meals together, I couldn't help but notice Aiden's unwavering support for Nova. This became evident when Nova accidentally messed up the dish she was planning to serve that day.
Why would you make such a simple mistake? Anyone could do it if they followed the recipe. Can't you even understand what's written?
I'm sorry.
Aiden's raised voice left Nova looking deeply saddened and dejected. What's wrong? Are you okay?
Oh, sorry. It seems Nova made a blunder.
Well, that happens to everyone. I'll help Nova, so Aiden, you can keep my husband company.
But that would be inconvenient.
My husband gestured to Aiden to join him, and they smoothed things over by sharing a drink. Nova apologized to me, and I encouraged her, assuring her that mistakes happen and that practice would reduce failures. Seeing Nova's distress firsthand was heartbreaking as a parent. I wondered if I had taught her more, perhaps neither of us would feel this sadness. Several months later, Nova joyfully announced that she was expecting a baby. I occasionally visited Nova and Aiden's home during her pregnancy and continued to support Nova even after childbirth. Of course, the prospect of meeting the adorable little Aurora was another significant reason for my visits. However, it must have been around 6 months after the birth of my granddaughter, Aurora. Aiden's demeanor, which had seemed calm, began to change gradually once again.
Make Aurora stop crying right now. Being unable to do even that makes you unfit as a mother.
Frustrated by the fussy child, Aiden raised his voice in a way I hadn't heard before, berating Nova. But this only made the baby cry even more. I tried to maintain a gentle tone as I leaned toward Aiden. Aiden, please calm down. Aurora must be startled too. After coming home from work, dealing with a crying child constantly can be exhausting. However, Aiden interrupted me mid-sentence, speaking harshly even to me. Then he stormed out of the room. Nova apologized, her face filled with sadness. What's wrong? Is it always like this?
Recently, he seems tired.
Nova replied. Perhaps Aiden frequently scolded Nova in their daily life. Seeing Nova's sorrowful expression as she tried to downplay the situation was incredibly difficult for me. Since then, I haven't seen Aiden at Nova's house. Maybe I interfered too much. Filled with anxiety, I worried about Nova's waning spirits. What's going on? Do you have any worries?
Nothing, I'm fine.
Nova repeated, refusing to share anything. She became increasingly withdrawn. Could it be exhaustion from parenting? Just when I thought I should pay more attention, I was summoned for Nova and headed to her place.
Mom, I'd prefer if you didn't come over anymore.
Why would you suddenly say that? What's wrong? Nova's words shocked me.
I need to learn to manage things on my own without relying solely on you. Otherwise, I won't become a proper mother.
But that's not true. It's okay to seek help when there are people willing to assist. Despite my reassuring words, Nova remained unconvinced. Understood. But if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you, Mom.
Occasionally, take Aurora over to play at our house. Though anxiety lingered, I decided to watch over Nova as she grew as a parent. Since then, as promised, Nova occasionally took Aurora to play at our house. But I couldn't shake my concern about Nova's lack of energy. No matter what I asked, she'd simply say she was fine. As Aurora started kindergarten, our meetings became less frequent, and by the time Aurora turned 6, Nova was busy with various activities, rarely visiting our home. And on a certain early morning around 4 a.m., something happened. My phone's ringtone echoed throughout the room. Who could be calling so early? I groggily picked up my smartphone, and on the screen, I saw the name Nova. Hello? What's going on at this hour? But it wasn't Nova's voice on the other end. Instead, I heard Aurora's voice, sounding like she was about to burst into tears.
Grandma, help! Our house is on fire.
Aurora! What happened to your mom? Tell her to come help you immediately.
My blood ran cold, and I shouted urgently at Aurora.
Mom hasn't woken up since Dad hit her.
What? What do you mean?
Aurora, who had likely been holding back, now cried out loudly.
It's okay. I'll come right away. Just get outside the house immediately.
I called 911, requesting both the fire department and an ambulance, and then my husband and I rushed to Nova's house. When we arrived, an unimaginably horrifying scene greeted us. The fire had spread worse than I had imagined, leaving me speechless and stunned. As firefighters worked diligently to extinguish the flames, I stood there helplessly, my knees giving way from shock. Eventually, Nova was carried out on a stretcher from inside.
Nova! Nova!
Behind her, I saw Aurora being carried by the paramedics.
Grandma,
Aurora noticed me and immediately ran over, hugging me tightly.
I was so scared.
Yes, but I'm relieved you're safe.
I held Aurora close. Soon, I rode in the ambulance alongside Nova and Aurora. Fortunately, Aurora had only suffered minor burns on her hands due to evacuating outside the house. Nova, on the other hand, remained unconscious and was taken to the intensive care unit. The doctor's grave expression as they told me to be prepared left me deeply unsettled. However, I resolved not to worry Aurora and put on a brave face, trying to stay composed. I continued calling Nova's husband, Aiden, to inform him of the situation, but the ringing went unanswered, and I couldn't connect.
Where is Aiden? What is he doing?
Deciding to wait a bit before calling again, I first decided to hear Aurora's account of what happened. Can you tell me what happened between Mom and Dad?
Yes. I woke up to Mom's voice saying, "Stop," and Dad's loud voice.
Aurora explained that she went to the room where she heard the two voices. There, she saw Aiden physically assaulting Nova, after which he left somewhere. Aurora was worried about Nova and entered the room after Aiden was gone.
Give this teddy bear to Grandma.
Nova said, pointing to a stuffed animal on the shelf. She also handed Aurora her phone.
I stayed by Mom's side the whole time, but I noticed a strange smell. When I investigated, I saw the fire.
Despite Nova's attempts to wake her, she remained unconscious, leading Aurora to call me for help. I see. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah. Hey, Grandma. Is Mom going to be okay?
The doctors are doing their best, so she'll be fine. After comforting Aurora, I accepted the teddy bear she handed me. It felt unusually heavy, and upon closer inspection, I noticed stitched seams. Opening it up, I found a letter from Nova along with something else. Why would this be here? Curious, I received an incoming call from Aiden.
Why are you calling so early?
Your house is on fire, and Nova and Aurora have been taken to the hospital. The doctor says their lives might be in danger.
I see. I'd been out of town on a business trip since yesterday. I won't be able to return until late tonight.
Aiden's lack of surprise or concern for his wife and child left me incredulous. After hanging up, my anger surged uncontrollably. Aiden's conflicting story compared to Aurora's account filled me with distrust. Aurora was admitted to the hospital for burn treatment, but I had something I needed to confirm. Leaving the hospital, I hurried to Nova's house. It's worse than I thought. The house was partially burned, with only the garage and its surroundings remaining. I hope they're safe. After reading Nova's letter, I searched the charred remains for a specific purpose. I found the answer and gained certainty. Simultaneously, my phone rang, and I rushed back to the hospital.
I won't forgive him. I'll drag him down to hell.
With that determination, fueled by anger, I decided to seek revenge against Aiden. Late that evening, a solemn-faced Aiden arrived at my home. Actually, I had contacted him, saying, "Nova has passed away, and I'd like to discuss what comes next." Aiden asked.
Where is Nova?
I replied, "She's not here. Aurora is in the hospital for burn treatment." Aiden simply nodded without changing his expression, leaving me unable to discern his thoughts. "We've handled the arrangements from here." "I apologize for making decisions without consulting you," I said. Aiden responded.
No, it ended up being a situation where I'm entrusting everything to you. Thank you.
Perhaps he also felt a bit sorry. Aiden apologized.
Given the suddenness of it all, I can't wrap my head around my feelings. I want to leave the funeral and all subsequent procedures in your hands.
I challenged him. Isn't that the wrong approach? Aiden explained.
If I don't keep busy with work to distract myself, the shock would be too much to bear.
He remained bowed as he stood up and walked toward the entrance. We won't let it end here, I declared. So, I took out Nova's letter from my pocket. As I began reading it with a trembling voice, Aiden stopped in his tracks. If you're reading this, Mom, it means I'm no longer in this world. I apologize for causing you so much worry all this time.
Wait, is that a farewell letter? Does it mean Nova took her own life?
Nova wasn't that fragile. Just listen to the whole thing.
Despite Aiden's discontent, I ignored it and continued reading Nova's words. It's all Aiden's fault.
What? But how can this be my fault? Nova tried to frame me like this in her final moments.
Aiden went from vehement denial to sniffling and feigning tears.
Can you still deny it after seeing this?
I opened my laptop, showing Aiden the screen.
This is...
His expression turned pale as he saw the evidence, a scene of him with another woman, caught in the act of infidelity.
Why do you have something like this?
Nova planted this tiny camera inside the living room teddy bear.
I held up the miniature camera in front of him.
Why would she do something so intrusive?
He expressed anger and slammed his fist onto the table. Nova's letter revealed her suspicions about Aiden's infidelity during her absence. She had grown wary of his cold treatment and absence from home since their child was born. Nova was determined to prove her doubts, even at great personal risk.
What the hell?
Seemingly cornered, Aiden muttered under his breath as he tried to leave the room.
Where are you going? We're not done yet.
There's more? Can't we just end this?
He sighed heavily, visibly annoyed.
Aiden, your mind has been consumed by your affair, and you've turned to violence against me. That's what Nova's letter says.
Even without evidence, why do you keep doing this? Let's just end it.
There is evidence, though. And there's no way we can just let it go like this.
I slammed the video footage in front of Aiden once again.
Can you explain what's going on?
Ugh.
Feeling cornered, he lifted the laptop, then forcefully hurled it to the floor.
Why would you do that?
She should just listen to what I say. But ever since our child was born, she's been expressing her opinions more and more.
And what's wrong with that?
She's trying to make me take care of the child too. It's annoying. I work outside, so childcare is a woman's job, right?
Aiden seemed stuck in rigid thinking, but that didn't justify his actions.
Nova was indeed a quiet person. But when Aurora, who is more precious to her than anything, was born, she started changing little by little, didn't she?
I never asked for any of that from her. If she had just obeyed me, there wouldn't have been infidelity or violence.
Aiden showed no remorse and finally became defiant.
Well, Nova isn't here anymore, so it's over.
That's not how it works. Aurora said that right before the fire, Dad hurt Mom and left.
You can't trust what a child says.
He chuckled and grinned.
Besides, I've been away on a business trip since the day before. There's no way I could have done any of that.
Confidently, he tried to dismiss Aurora's testimony. The tension escalates as the truth unfolds.
Why is the person who was on a business trip appearing here?
I took out my smartphone from my pocket and pointed the video at Aiden. As Aurora had said, Aiden was there, assaulting Nova just before the fire.
The cause of the fire is likely someone intentionally setting it, according to the firefighter. Could it be you?
Aiden stammered.
I don't know anything.
I continued.
Oh, really? Then what about this?
The evidence kept piling up, capturing Aiden's actions just before the fire erupted.
Why does this even exist?
Aiden exclaimed.
Nova secretly installed cameras in the garage. Thankfully, that area didn't catch fire.
I explained. Nova's attempt to catch the decisive moment of infidelity led to this unexpected revelation for Aiden.
I'm taking this to the police,
I declared. Aiden resisted, trying to snatch the phone from me.
Stop! I've been telling you to stop.
I struggled against him, and I was overpowered. Just then, my husband, who had recorded everything from the adjacent room, intervened.
Let go, old man. I said let me go.
Aiden was subdued by my husband. I handed Aiden a piece of paper from my bag.
What's this? What does it mean? But Nova.
Aiden was bewildered. Understandably so. The paper I gave him was a divorce form with Nova's section filled out. As it turned out, thanks to the doctor's dedicated efforts, Nova had survived.
How could you lie about your daughter's death, even as her parents?
A fully comprehending Aiden raised his voice.
I never said she died. What's gone is Nova's fragile heart, unable to speak.
I replied. Aiden protested.
What? So you've decided everything without consulting me? Isn't this about her funeral?
Oh no, that's about Nova and Aurora moving.
I clarified. Aiden's attitude shifted dramatically.
You're kidding. You're deceiving me.
He struggled while my husband held him.
Oh, and by the way, we're filing a complaint. Considering the arson incident, the charges could be quite serious,
I added. At that moment, Aiden's demeanor changed again, and he tearfully pleaded with me.
Please, stop. If you do that, it's over. Aren't we family? Besides, Nova and Aurora survived.
You're not family. May someone as despicable as you rot in hell.
I retorted. A stunned Aiden stood there, held in place by my husband. Subsequently, I submitted all the evidence to the police, and Aiden was arrested. He faced severe charges and would spend some time in prison. Nova finalized her divorce. Seeking compensation for emotional distress and medical expenses, I claimed a total of $150,000, while the affair partner was asked for $10,000. Aiden's parents covered all the costs. Once he paid his debt to society, he would be disowned. Nova eventually recovered and, along with Aurora, moved into our home. As they slowly regained their strength, I watched over them, hoping for their happiness.
How did you like this story? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time.